Hi, and welcome to Build Series. I'm your host, Lauren Moraski with HuffPost. For years, Carrie Ann Inaba was served as a judge on ABC's hit show, Dancing with the Stars. You can now see her as a co-host on CBS's daytime show, The Talk. What you may not know is that Carrie is also one of an estimated 5 million people in the United States affected by iron deficiency anemia. Here to talk about that and more is Carrie Ann.
Hi.
Welcome to Build. We're so excited to have you here, and it's your first time here.
Yes, this is my first time here. It's such a great space. I love it. It's nice to see everybody.
Yeah, we got a good crowd here for you, and we're talking about an important issue.
Yes, we are.
And let's just start off with what is iron deficiency anemia for people who do not know.
Well, you know what? This is what's so great is I have brought a friend here because I want her to give the exact definition of what iron deficiency anemia is. She is a doctor. Dr. Martin, would you mind? Sure. Just because I think it's so important and it's such a big deal. I want to get it right. I want to make sure everybody knows, and I want you to hear it from a doctor.
Thank you. So iron deficiency anemia is actually a very, very common condition. It affects about 5 million people in the United States. And it happens when you have low levels of iron in your blood, and then you're not able to make enough red blood cells. And when that happens, you get anemic. And then we call it iron deficiency anemia, or IDA. You'll hear us refer to that way.
Great. Well, thank you for that explanation. That was great.
See how much better it comes from the doctor?
It sounds very official.
Thank you, doctor. Yes.
But for you, how did you discover that you were affected by this?
That I was IDA.
Yeah.
That I had IDA. So about 6 years ago, I was a judge on Dancing with the Stars. I've been on it for 27 seasons now. And 6 years ago, I started to notice I was really debilitated and I was extremely fatigued. Like it was a fatigue that just wouldn't go away. I couldn't figure out what it was. The doctors, we were trying to figure out what it was. And finally, when we did a blood panel, we did an iron panel specifically, and a blood panel specifically to find out about iron deficiency anemia. And as it turns out, my ferritin was very, very low. And I was diagnosed with iron deficiency anemia. And it was so helpful because once I was informed about what IDA was, my life was back on track. I was able to take control over my health, which is so important.
So what about the treatment for it? And what did you have to do to change your life to feel better?
Well, what's so great is I actually didn't have to change my life a lot. For myself, what I want to encourage here is for people to create a relationship with their doctor to find out and be diagnosed if they have IDA. As you said, it affects 5 million people, or 5 million adults across America. And I believe the statistic is 1 in every 4 people across the world have IDA. And so it's very common, but it's underdiagnosed. So for me, I did intravenous infusions.
Okay.
And that helped me. I do it once a year. But everybody is different. And I'm not here actually to talk about a specific treatment as much as I'm here to talk about getting iron informed.
Yep.
Because for me, it was a life changer to be informed about it. And I think I want to encourage that for people. Life is overwhelming. We have got so many things coming at us. And to have better health is a goal for everybody. And for me, I know that when I'm feeling good and my iron levels are managed, which I have come to a great treatment plan with my doctor, once it's all managed, I'm feeling great and I'm able to go through life. Like now I can do the talk, which is a job I have to wake up every day now. I've never had to do that before. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to get to that. When you were first diagnosed,
Yes.
what surprised you the most or in learning about this condition that you did not know prior?
What surprised me is how many people have it and how common it is and how underdiagnosed it is. That's why this is so important to me. I really want, I partnered with Daiichi Sankyo to get this message out. It's mostly to spread awareness because it's just underdiagnosed and you really need to ask your doctor. Like if I hadn't gotten the ferritin test, I wouldn't have known and I'd still be struggling. I'd still be like lying on my bed exhausted all the time. And that's not my life anymore because I was diagnosed.
And a lot of us are like, oh, I woke up so early, I didn't get much sleep last night, and you could just blame it on that. And then sometimes there might be some other condition that's going on that you didn't really know about.
Yeah, see, like for me, I had fibroids. And so that is part of what caused my IDA. For women, it can just be monthly cycle.
Yep.
But it can be a lot of other things. It can be IBD. It can be celiac disease. There's a lot of different conditions, cancer included, that could cause it.
And so it's kind of related. It could be related to other conditions, and it's a kind of a spiral effect.
Correct.
It's really interesting.
But it's really easy. Once you figure it out, you can manage it very easily.
Yeah, so it's not that scary.
No, it doesn't have to be scary.
Yeah.
It's scarier when you don't know.
Yeah.
I was scared all the time. And sometimes you have heart palpitations and you have a lot of anxiety because you don't know what's going on and your energy just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. And for me, once I figured out what it was and I knew that it was IDA and something that's manageable, easily manageable, my life changed because at ease, mostly just being at ease with what it was and knowing what it was.
This is not the first health condition that you've spoken openly about. Can you talk a little bit? I know you've struggled with some spinal issues as well, being a dancer, choreographer. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you've managed that with this or just life in general?
Okay, well, as a dancer, I've had a lot of injuries. Spinal stenosis is one of them. It's sort of a narrowing of your spinal canal. A lot of football players get it. And I also had Sjogren's syndrome, which is an autoimmune condition. I've had a lot of health issues. I think we do now. I mean, I think a lot of people have health conditions. What was important about this one is I kind of thought it was all lumping together. I just thought I was heading downhill. I was getting older. I was like early 40s. I thought, oh, this is the, here it goes, going down. And really, that's not what it was. You know, it was figuring out what my iron levels were, getting in touch with my doctor, making sure we were doing the proper tests. One of them is the ferritin test. It's a very important test. You have to ask specifically for it. And once you know your ferritin levels, then you kind of know if you have IDA, and that's iron deficiency anemia. And once you know that, then you can get the right treatment protocol for you. And I was able to do that, and my life is back on track. Those other conditions that I have don't really bother me as much. Yeah, because when you are low on iron, you start to feel all the pains in your bodies as well. I was just talking to my trainer about it the other day, she also has it. So many people have this,
right?
And it's so underdiagnosed. I just really want people to go and talk to the doctors. We have a wonderful website called getironinformed.com. They've got great resources. There's the best part about this is the thing that I'm the most excited about. There's a I guess it's like a what's the word? There's like a resource that can help you ask your doctor the right questions. And I think that's really important because sometimes we don't know what questions to ask, right? So go on the website. There's a lot of great information. It's really fun. It's kind of cute. There's some good, fun pictures as well.
When you think about like your life in general, you mentioned your trainer. What else do you do to kind of make sure that you stay healthy and inspired? And you know, now that you're a little busy going to work every day, I want to know how that's changing things. But in general, how do you stay up to date with that?
Well, as I've gotten older, I think my priority has gotten more towards health. I mean, health is really the ultimate goal for me. It's what I'm always aware of, health and happiness, right? And I find that actually even before happiness, health comes first. Because when you're not feeling well, it's really hard to be happy. Right? And I've taken care of a lot of people who've been ill in my life, so I'm very familiar with taking care of not only myself, but of other people and people that I love. And it's important to have a good support system. I have a great group of friends that we talk about things. Like if something's going on with me, I talk about it with my girlfriends so that they know. I want them to know what's going on in case it's going to happen with them. Like we've talked about IDA a lot over a girls' night because I want to make sure all my girlfriends are being checked. I want to make sure everybody's being checked because it's important to have this good relationship with your doctor to get iron informed. Also, it's really important to advocate for yourself. You have to be your own advocate. The doctors are very busy. They can't know your story. You have to ask the questions. You have to care about yourself enough to make it a priority and ask. Even if they're like saying, oh, I have to move on to my next patient or whatever happens because life happens and it gets busy, you have to stop them and ask them for what you need because they don't live your life. They're not in your shoes. I used to think that my doctors were in charge of me and my health. But it's not true. We are in charge of our own health, so you have to be your own advocate.
I love that. I think that's really, and having that support system, so important.
So important.
Yeah.
Yeah, also
and being able to talk about it.
And you should go, like when you go to a doctor's appointment and it's going to be a more challenging discussion, bring somebody with you because they can take notes. I always go to my mom's appointments. I take notes for her. She takes notes for me. It's kind of like a buddy system, and that way you don't miss anything because sometimes they tell you something and you get stuck on that thought and you haven't heard anything else from the appointment, right?
Exactly. It's hard to absorb it all, and then you
is.
forget to ask your questions. It's very complicated.
Yes.
And you're like, oh my gosh, I only have like 5 minutes with this person.
Yeah, and you want to rush.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, okay, so we love seeing you on the talk. Congratulations on the new gig. You co-hosted, you guest hosted prior to that. What was it like getting the news that you were going to be the new co-host on the talk? What was the reaction?
It was the best. It was the best news ever, I have to say. It's been a long time since I've auditioned for something. Like it reminded me of back when I was a dancer in my 20s and like really having my eye on a job that I wanted, like to tour with Madonna. That was the other second job that I was like so excited. And then I got Dancing with the Stars. And then when I got the talk, I had guest co-hosted about 60 times. And it was something, I loved it. From the first moment I sat at that table, I was like, this is where I want to be. But there wasn't a job available, but I just kept going. I'm like, sometimes you just have to put it out to the universe and just keep putting yourself out there and trying really hard and allow the universe to take over. And it did, and it allowed me to have this opportunity, and I love it. I love it. Every day I go to work now, and I'm so grateful because my health is good now. And so I can go and be really excited and not worry about do I have enough energy to manage this?
Yep.
Now it's a great time.
That's awesome. And I understand, Julie Chen was the person you replaced. I
Yes.
understand she's been really supportive. She sent you flowers or something. Yeah. So
She's been very supportive. Julie's my sister. Like, she's just awesome. And, it's so good when women support each other, as you know. Like, it's really important in our community. As women, we need to always support each other and uplift each other. It was a very difficult time for her, and she's been nothing but supportive. So I'm very grateful.
and I think that you have a lot of women support. I saw that Kelly Ripa sent you like flowers, and she's like a mentor to you as well.
Yeah, Kelly Ripa really taught me how to do daytime television. I mean, co-hosting with her all those times all over the past years have been great. That woman is one of the smartest, funniest women ever. And I'm so grateful that she's been a mentor in my life, and she continues to be a friend who sends me wine.
Can't complain with that. No, that's amazing.
a good friend.
We all need wines. It's a good friend.
She always sends me rosé.
Rosé, I love it. Well, that's the thing. It's like it's so nice to see, women, a women's only panel. Can you talk a little bit about that and talking about hearing women's voices, talking about important issues of the day, and also women inclusion and a diverse panel as well.
It is an extremely diverse panel, and I'm very proud to be on that panel. It reminds me back in the day when I was a fly girl, that was my first time working with a group of 5 women. And I always think, wow, it's so funny. It's very similar to when I was a fly girl. We were a diverse group then. This is a very diverse group of women. They're all extremely intelligent. They're all survivors. What I love about this panel is there's no competition. For some reason, we sit there and there's just like an earnestness to share our stories and to support each other. And we've all come from, I could say we've all struggled through our lives, as we all do. Life is kind of a struggle, and I love that they're all so open about it, and I've learned so much from them, from Sharon, from Sarah, from Eve, from Cheryl. It's just, from Julie, I've learned so much from them, and it's really wonderful to be a part of a family like this. They're like a sisterhood.
Yeah.
And I'm honored.
It's a good crew that you have going on there.
It is a
So,
good crew.
okay, be honest.
Yes.
Going to work every day, what's the biggest challenge of that? Because you said you haven't had a job that you had to go to every day.
I've never had a job that I had to wake up every day for. Because even when I was a fly girl, it was like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Dancing with the Stars is 10 weeks twice a year, and we only show up to the days that we judge. Waking up every day, and it's sort of choosing an outfit, choosing clothes to get, to go to work in every day. That's kind of difficult, but seriously, there's nothing really that difficult. It's a matter of getting used to all the people.
Yeah.
Because every day before the show, we have a lot of meetings, and all these producers come in and they kind of brief you on all the stories. I'm not used to having that much interaction with people, because on Dancing with the Stars, as a judge, we're kept sequestered far away. Like, I never meet half the people that work on Dancing with the Stars. We're totally in 3 trailers, far, far away on the other side of the lot, and we're not allowed on set or anything. So this is very different. Everybody talks to me. I do the voiceover at the top of the show. That's kind of exciting. That's all new for me. And reading prompter is different for me, which is a new skill set that I'm learning and I'm working on. But I love it. I really love to learn. So going to work on the talk every day is a new topic, and I get to learn. And that's the best part.
That's awesome. Well, we're very excited to see what you can do down the line, because it just started. I feel like you've only been doing it for how long?
I'm only on week 4.
Yeah, she's only on week 4.
Oh my
This is
God.
great.
It's so exciting.
Who has been your favorite guest so far? Or, what kind of guests would you love to meet? Because you're going to meet a lot of celebrities and such.
Oh my gosh, yes, we have some really great guests coming up. We have Deborah Messing's coming in, which I'm very excited about. Josh Groban.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite guest so far, there was a lot, but I love Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes. She's like a force of nature. And Brigitte Nielsen. She's so happy, because we all saw her on the show with Flavor Flav, right? We've seen her at her worst, and seeing her on the show was seeing her at her best, and she's a new mom. She's radiant. It's beautiful. And Michael Douglas was incredible. Michael Bolton came and sang, and last time I saw him was on Dance with the Stars, so it's really nice to see him again in a different environment. It's just, it's so much fun.
It's a lot of fun. Well, different. I like how you compared it to Dancing with the Stars, because it is very different.
Very different.
But I can't believe it. 27 seasons you've done Dancing with the Stars so far. And what would you say it is about that show that has resonated now, kind of looking back with so many fans for so many years?
So many years. Dancing. No, just kidding. I'd say it's just dancing. People love dancing, but it's beyond dancing. I think the thing about Dancing with the Stars is we've become like a family to people, and we don't get too controversial. We keep it kind of to the point. Great dancing, fun. It's entertainment. It's good old-fashioned entertainment. We get to see people trying something new, which I always think is inspirational. I myself get inspired by people that are on the show that have big careers, and they're willing to risk sort of ego to come and dance. And, I mean, they're just winning a disco ball. It's not a big thing, but it's nice. And it reminds us all that it's okay to fail and get back up. And I think that's the message of the show, is to get out there and be willing to try something new. And I think we all get stuck in our comfort zones. And I'm proud to be a part of that show, encouraging people to try new things.
Yeah, and I've talked to a lot of contestants over the years, and they say this is one of the hardest things they've ever done. I mean, for real.
It is.
It's a challenge.
It's brutal. Everybody by week one, they're like, oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. By week 3, they're like, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? Because it's extremely hard. Emotionally, physically, it's way more trying than I think anybody ever guessed when they started. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. How would you say that you've changed or grown as a judge on the show in terms of your style?
That's a good point. In the beginning, I was at one point called something that starts with a C, Zilla. It's a horrible word. I don't know how they made it up, but it wasn't a very flattering term, because it was a woman giving sort of constructive criticism, and people were not used to seeing a lot of that on television. So it's been a huge growth trajectory for me to learn how to give constructive feedback, because I believe in truth. I mean, my motto in life is truth. I don't care if it's ugly truth or if it's going to hurt my heart or break it into a million pieces. I love truth because it's the only way I can grow. It's the only way I can know. Even if I don't agree with your truth, I will check in with myself to know if maybe your truth is different than mine. But it's so refreshing to hear truth. So I try to give it back to them, because I try to treat people as I want to be treated. And even though it's hard, because sometimes they have danced their little booties off, and they're just looking at me like, please, wasn't that great? And I'm like, no, it wasn't. But I'm going to tell you, because you're going to hear it from everybody else at home who just saw it. And I want to tell you in a way that maybe I can help you grow.
Right.
Because they're going to hear it. And they should know, because I think everybody wants to win. And the only way you're going to win is if you know what you're doing wrong, so you can improve on it.
Absolutely. You hinted earlier about the behind-the-scenes nature of the show and how you're kind of sequestered. What else do we not see as an audience that goes on behind the scenes on the judging panel that you could share?
Well, we used to have a judging scoring panel, but that got X'd because Bruno and I kept messing it up.
Yeah.
Bruno more than me. We had to plug in the score, and sometimes we would forget what we plugged in, and that was a problem. So now we do everything old-fashioned. We literally write our scores down by hand, and I pass it off to a producer who goes and tallies it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every time, because they're worried that we might get it wrong.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know. I feel like people don't know how much we care about the dancers. We love them all, and we all love each other, like Aaron, Tom, Bruno, myself, Len. It's just a really healthy background. We just all care about each other, which is really nice.
And you've known each other for so long now, because having been doing this for quite some time.
I mean, we're one of the few shows that we have the same original judging panel.
Yeah. How many shows have gone through so many different judges? I know you had different guest judges here and there.
We had Julianne for a while, and she was great, too, but she's just moved on, and yeah, it's nice. It's kind of nice. I think we're familiar to people, and I think in this day and age when there's so much turmoil in the world, people want something that makes them feel comfortable and familiar and safe.
Exactly. So, okay, so we're not going back this spring, so you're going to be busy with the talk, but we might see Dancing with the Stars again in the fall, potentially.
Right, which would be great. It's going to be a good season when it comes back.
Okay.
Sure.
I imagine it will. How long do you see Dancing with the Stars going on for? Because it's already been 27 seasons.
Well, let's hope at least we make it to 30.
Okay.
And then from there, wherever.
Okay. So how much in your own time do you do your own dance now? Or choreographing?
I have not been choreographing a lot because I've been really focusing on talk shows, right? And learning to develop my voice, which has been an interesting journey for me, because as a dancer, I chose to dance because I didn't like to talk. So it's really ironic that I ended up becoming somebody who speaks for a living because I was not comfortable with it.
Interesting.
As a child, I had speech therapy because I was so nervous to speak. It's funny how life gives you these wonderful lessons and puts you on a trajectory that you could not imagine, but you have to go with it. And by going with it, I've found all these wonderful lessons and blessings, and even illnesses and chronic conditions that you have to deal with in life, they're all blessings, and I feel really lucky. Even having my iron deficiency anemia has helped me. My Sjogren's has helped me. Everything in life, every time I've stumbled, what comes after the stumble is the gift, right?
Yeah.
So if you consider an illness or a chronic condition a stumble, it's for a reason. Now I know energy management, being an advocate for my own health, all of that is really important. So that's a blessing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and then you've been able to recreate your career in so many different ways. And it's interesting that you said that you were more quiet, and now you're on a talk show.
I am shy.
Yeah. I don't
It's
believe
so
it.
weird. I know.
Does she seem shy to you? No.
But I am. If you saw me at a party, you'd be like, hi. I'm like, I'm socially awkward.
Oh my
gosh, yeah.
But you've been dancing since you were like 3, right? So there's got to be a
Yes.
part of you that had some sort of like confidence at a young age.
You know why I dance? I dance because sometimes I felt like words weren't enough.
Huh.
So I found that like sometimes, and even on Dancing with the Stars, if you listen to me carefully, I'm not always saying complete sentences because I'm making noises, because sometimes I feel like the noise or the like it expresses it better than the actual words.
Yeah.
So dancing is the same for me. And actually I just started dancing again. My old dance teacher and I have been getting together for Tuesday night warm-ups. So we just do the bar warm-up, and it feels so good. And I was watching old videos of myself when I was a dancer, and I'm like, yeah, I want to look like that again. So I'm trying to get back into dancing a little.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And and you mentioned being a fly girl. Of course, you're on Living Color. How long? You were on there quite some time.
I was one of the originals, and I was there
Yeah.
for the first 3 seasons.
The
and then
first
I
3
left.
seasons. What were some of the highlights when you look back? I mean, it's been a minute when you think about being on that show.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
You know what I loved is the comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working with geniuses. I mean, Jim Carrey, Tommy Davidson, Keenan, Ivory Wayans, Damon Wayans, David Allen Greer. I mean, who played Ray? Who played Ray? Who played Ray? Jamie Foxx.
Oh yeah.
He was amazing.
So the cast on there was
the cast was
incredible.
incredible, and the dancers working with J-Lo. I mean, she was so strong. I learned a lot from her.
Huh.
She was a very confident woman. She always has been, and I learned a lot from that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have some questions from the audience,
okay,
so
great.
let's get to it. We have
Sure.
who we have first.
Do we have questions,
We do.
or did we answer them all?
We have more.
What advice would you give someone when they're talking to their doctor about IDA?
First of all, make sure you ask them for the ferritin test. There's a blood panel workup that's specifically designed to figure out if you have IDA, and ask for it. Every time I go to the doctor now and I get a blood workup, I ask specifically for that, and that way you'll know. Do you want to ask the doctor? Would you mind, Dr. Martin?
No, not at all. I think it's really important that you recognize that you have the right to ask for tests and at least start the conversation. The doctor may give you a justification for why they don't think you need it, but it's super important to have that conversation. And I want to make another point. You know, Carrie Ann had a lot of symptoms from her anemia, and that's actually not terribly common. You can have relatively mild symptoms, like just be tired, or maybe your heart races a little bit, or you're short of breath. So you can have anemia, you can have IDA, and not really have a lot of symptoms. But if you think you do, then you need to start the conversation with your doctor, and don't be afraid to do so. I mean, if they don't respond to you the way you want, then you need to find another doctor.
Yeah, so I asked my doctor, and then when I go in for the blood test, I ask the technician again, just to make sure, because it's your health. You have a right. You're right. Thanks, doctor.
Thanks for fielding that. All right. We think we have time for one more question.
Hi.
I was going to ask, is there a specific type of doctor you go to for IDC?
All doctors can diagnose this. So you can ask your gynecologist, you can ask your general practitioner, you can ask your, what's the general doctor that everybody has? Internal medicine. I have a rheumatologist that I go to. Ask any of your doctors. They should be able to help you.
Great question. Thank you. Okay. What's the website people can go to find out more information?
GetIronInformed.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Carrie Ann, for coming
you
to
for having me.
Build. And
You're
give her
great.
up one more
Thank
time.
you, guys. Thanks for being here.